Hi,
Hi, how are you?
Jenna. How's it going? My name is
Good.
Camilla.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. I am from Latina magazine, and I just actually watched your film, and it was amazing.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it very much. It's such an honor to talk to you because not only have I just seen your film, but you are a fellow Mexican American. Is that correct?
That is
Which
correct.
I grew up in New York, but my parents are both Mexican, and I love talking to a fellow.
Yeah,
So,
likewise. Yeah, both of my parents are Mexican as well. My mom's a little bit Puerto Rican too.
oh,
So I'm
love
Puerto Rican,
it.
Mexican on both
And
sides.
did your so do you have family in Mexico, or is most of your family in the States at this point?
Yeah, I have family in Mexico. Actually, I think there's a portion of my family, they like all live on the same ranch called like El Quilite or something like that. And it's like near not Sinaloa, maybe it's like a little bit lower. I'm not entirely sure, but I have family there. I have family in Puerto Rico I don't really know about, but on my dad's side I know that he's like fifth generation, so he's been here a while.
Here, I love
Yeah.
it. Well, I love it. And I'm excited to be able to show this to all of your Latina fans because I think one of the coolest things is that they have you as an icon and as someone that they can look up to. Representation matters. Um, on that note, my younger sister is a huge fan of yours. She might face it at some point in this little interview. But I wanted to dive into things before we get started on the movie. Um, First, I wanted to ask what your, family dynamic was growing up in terms of if it was familiar at all to the film. Were your parents strict, not strict? I mean, obviously you've been performing for a long time, so you have definitely not had the conventional childhood. But what parts of the family were similar to your own, maybe, or to your character? What parts were different?
I feel like my family was definitely a lot more strict, a lot more chaotic. What I will say is, I think in the film we're a lot more, I guess, open about our affection towards one another. And that's not to say that my family wasn't or we were neglected. That at all wasn't the case. My mom cared for us very much, and so did my father. But I mean, like that wasn't our way of showing love. Like we
Mm,
didn't look at each other and we're like, "I love you so much," and give each other
totally,
push you like down, push you off our bed and be like, get out of our room.
totally.
And also help each other with homework at, till midnight. It's like we're not very touchy feely in that sense, which I think that the Flores family is more that way. Yeah, I think that that's our main difference, but definitely a stricter household. Like I know I was saying earlier, like I don't think that I could have talked to my mother in the way that Katie does in the film. It just,
Totally.
but that's why it's a film.
Totally. I think I always wonder, I wonder if that's like a Latin thing. I've been recently deep into Mexican TikTok, and I love watching the ones that are like Mexican moms be like, and it shows the difference in levels of strictness. My mom was so strict. I was never
Yeah.
allowed to do anything. And it's so funny that scene in I mean, the arc obviously of the whole movie where you're trying to go to this concert and she wants to come with you was like a real life thing that happened to me growing up. Was my mom trying to take me to see a DJ in New York, and I was like, absolutely not. So I love that
Really?
part. I love that part of it. Which was your favorite scene to film, by the way? There were so many fun, crazy scenes. I want to hear about the car wash scene, and then I want to hear what your favorite one was.
All right, car wash scene, don't do it in person. Uh, and the reason why I say that, it looks like it's so much more fun than it actually is. I remember we were so excited to do it.
Mhm.
All of us kids, and even I think Edgar was excited too. Um, so we go and we did the first take, and after the first take, when we realized how cold it was, the soap that got in your eyes, how the blow dryers did absolutely nothing, and now you're just stuck with wet underwear and wet socks and soggy, floppy shoes, you realize that it's just not the move. Um, and even like I remember our younger sister on the set, Everly, did not like it at all, so they had to bring her double in. It was just not. So we were like shooting around, like because we didn't want to put her through that again. But it was like I don't know, if I were that young, it might be slightly traumatizing. But
Totally. Yeah,
yeah,
that
but it looks great. It
looked
looks
great.
great.
It was like
It looks so much fun.
It looks like the dream. I was watching it like literally in bed, and I was like, this is make me want to like get up and go to a car wash and just walk through it.
Like we also cheated, like we try to use like safer soap and like things like that. So they have like different whatever. So again, another reason why it may not be conventional to do in real life. But it looks really fun. And once you get past the first few times, it doesn't get too bad. Then you like kind of recover from it. But I think the initial shock of like, oh, this is not what I had in mind is weird. I think my favorite scene to shoot was probably the Kablawi water balloon fight. And the reason why I say that is because it did not even feel like we were filming. And because we all had our own teams, we were hyping our team up, wiling them up. So when we were filming, we just kind of had free range to do whatever we wanted. We just kind of, I'm very competitive, or at least I used to be when I was younger when it came to sports and things like that. So it's just a dream to just show up to work, be contractually obligated to throw water balloons at people and try to hit them. It was a really, really fun week.
That scene was crazy. The scene when Jennifer Garner does like a backflip right before she wins that last flag.
I know. She did that herself. I thought that I thought they were going to bring a double, and she did that herself.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. I have one of your Latina fans dialing in really quickly.
Really?
Te voy a saludar, Jenna, okay?
Okay.
Here's a big fan of yours.
How are you?
I'm good. So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you as well.
So we're gonna follow our interview, but you have a good day.
Okay, I love your show. I've binge watched
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're doing a yes day. I'm doing a yes day thing with her where she's like, can I FaceTime in your interview? And I'm like, yes. So there you go. And so that scene where you guys are all throwing water balloons, how many takes were you doing of that? Was that just all in one day, or what was the situation with that one?
No, we had a whole week. So any of like the big like yes day asks were usually multiple days of shooting, except for the car wash. I think we did the car wash the car wash was actually 2 days. We did a car wash for 2 days. We did the ice cream for 3 days. Those were our first 3 days on set, by the way, the ice cream.
The ice cream for 3 days?
3 days of just breakfast, lunch, and dinner eating ice cream. It's not that nice. The first day is great. And then in terms of Kablawi, we shot that for a week. So, I mean, it's just like endless amounts of footage of us like, okay, we're bringing in the drone shot today. So all of this is going to be overhead shooting. So just go in and make it look as crazy as possible. Hey, Jenna, we're going to add a setup. Hey, there's like one part where they added like a slow motion shot of me like dodging a balloon.
Yes. Yeah, you're like Matrix vibes. Yeah.
Yes. And that was like something that the director came up with on the spot because he didn't have a shot list. So then it's like, okay, we're cutting out, well, we have 5 days to shoot this. So we totally have time to do a 30-minute setup and get this special lens on the camera and make sure that we could get this Matrix shot. So that was the cool thing about it too, is it never felt rushed because we had just so much time to really cover everything and make sure we got everything we needed.
And in real life, do you have any siblings?
There's 6 kids in my family, so I have 5 siblings.
And where do you fall in the line?
I'm the 4th one.
Okay. And what was it like playing the oldest child? Do you feel like you drew any inspiration from your oldest sibling, or it was pretty intrinsic?
I guess it was slightly, but not really, just because I am an older sibling to 2 younger siblings, so I know what that's like. But because we were kind of creating a whole new family, and me, Jen, Edgar, Everly, and Julian kind of had a bond, I did find myself becoming even more protective of the younger ones, and even more like, hey, did they eat their meal today? Are they doing their homework? How are they doing in this class? Like you feel yourself kind of becoming more parental. And I don't know if that's the typical older sibling thing, but that's something that I noticed.
Totally. And you're very seasoned, obviously, in this industry, and you've been acting for a long time. When did you start performing?
Professionally, I started performing when I was 10, 11. But I had been wanting to act since I was 6.
Or are any of your siblings acting as well, or you just always like to be in front of the camera?
No, and that's the weird thing. I don't even know that I like being in front of the camera, because when I was younger, I was a lot more outgoing, but now I'm more shy, and all of my siblings are super shy, so we get along like that. I just don't know what it is. I think I just like being able to express myself creatively in that outlet and maybe see the world from a different perspective. But it's like I would also love to do theater where I'm not, it doesn't always have to be in front of a camera. But yeah, no, I'm the only one. No one else is.
Totally. Well, that must be so fun for them to see you on screen and be able to celebrate you. So that's cute that you have a little following of fans in your family. I come from a big family as well, so they definitely rock those big Latin families.
Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3, and I am the second oldest. So the younger sister you just met, and then I have a younger brother, and I have an older brother.
Yeah.
But I also have so many cousins, all living in Mexico.
Yep.
And I don't know if you spend time with your cousins growing up, but it really does feel like you're just part of this like huge extended family.
Yeah. I don't even know all my cousins. I would like go to soccer games growing up, and somebody would check me in for a soccer game, and my dad would start hugging like the ref, and I'm like, well, what are you doing? How do you know him? He's like, that's your third cousin.
Oh my God, I love it. You growing up, did you, obviously coming of Latin descent, were there any kind of Latin icons that you looked up to in the industry? Whether it was actors or musicians. I think right now something that I focus on when I'm interviewing Latinas a lot is Latin representation in media. And I think it's so important to have people to look up to. And I think right now there are probably so many young girls that look up to you. And I'm wondering if you had any of those growing up, or you feel like you kind of paved the way on your own.
I wouldn't say I paved the way because I did have people a little bit before me who kind of helped me out. Like there's people like Gina Rodriguez who like if she was not Jane the Virgin and I was not, so things kind of worked out with me that way. But I think growing up, I don't know that there was too many Latin icons that I looked up to. Obviously, I loved Selena Quintanilla because my mom was obsessed with her, and then it was always her in the house, which I know that's like a very obvious one. But then also I really love Zoe Saldana because when I was younger, I loved the movie Colombiana. Like I just thought that was like the coolest, most badass female character. So I loved her, and then I think I also loved Michelle Rodriguez growing up, and I think that those were Latin icons that I looked up to.
All phenomenal people to work with. To look up to, and to maybe some I've worked with, some maybe you will work with. How was it working with Jennifer and Edgar in this film? Had you met either of them before? Or was it totally new?
It was totally new, and I couldn't believe that because I heard word because I signed on to the film before Edgar did, and I heard word that he was possibly going to be signing on, and I was so confused because I thought that they may have been talking about a different Edgar Ramirez because he only does serious work, or he's a very serious actor, but he's so versatile, and I don't think people give him enough credit for that because he is an incredibly funny guy. So having him sign on and being able to work with him, another Latin icon, really, really crazy to experience, and I'm so lucky. And then also Jen, like I grew up watching 13 going on 30, and I really had so much respect for her and her work, and even just the way she carries herself and all of the charitable work she does. She just is a very admirable woman. So being able to share scenes with her and call her mom was a pretty surreal experience as well.
And what about Arturo Castro? Did you get to spend any time with him?
I did slightly. He spent more time with Jen than I did, but he is such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. He was really, really good with our younger castmates and was really fun and interactive. And he's very professional and just really, really nice.
It is obviously an extraordinary group of people in one film, but you really have some icons in that movie with you, and an icon as well. And are you right now? Are you working on any other projects that you have going on?
Well, right now I'm in New Zealand. I'm in New Zealand shooting an A24 film by Ty West, who wrote and is directing it, which I'm really excited for. And then I've just kind of, last year was kind of busy. So I know I have like a film called The Fallout that's coming out really, really soon. It's premiering at South by Southwest, which I'm excited because I've never done the film festival route before. So it's I'm very pleased by that. And then I also have Scream, the 5th installment of the Scream franchise coming out early next year.
I love that. Have you been able to explore New Zealand at all?
Slightly. They've kind of kept me busy here, and I've been jumping around from location to location. And this town that I'm in, it's very rural New Zealand. So a lot of farms and sheep and cows, but it's really beautiful. And we plan on. We ended up working overtime this week, so we worked on one of our weekdays, and today was our only day off. But we're hoping that on our next weekend that we could like maybe do a trip out to, because there's like black sand beaches nearby and everyone's talking about these glowworms that we have to see. So the cast and I have some plans, but we haven't really gotten out too much yet.
You got to see the glowworms.
Oh my God, I know.
One last question for you before we wrap up. What advice do you have, for young Latinas and Latinos kind of hoping to make it in the industry? I think COVID has been a huge disruption for so many people who are trying to act or sing or get involved in entertainment. So what, if anything, would you want these young people to know?
When the time does arise, here's what I'll say. Don't let character descriptions sway you from not going out for something, because I know a lot of the projects that I booked were specifically written for white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes. A lot of like my main projects like Stuck in the Middle, where a lot of people know me from that Disney show. It's like that was written, I think the family's last name was Baxter, and it went from Hillary Baxter to Harley Diaz, so I think that I think putting racial limitations on characters is ridiculous in the first place. I don't understand why that was ever a thing. And while they are opening up a little bit more, if you feel that you could do that character justice and it's something that you're passionate about, try to get in as many rooms as possible. And you're gonna get a lot of no's. That's just the way it is. I wouldn't let that make you feel any differently about your talent or your passion. You just got to continue working hard, because a lot of times when it comes down to it, it's not always that. It's, well, how would she paired next to this person, or how tall is she, how old is she, et cetera, et cetera. So don't let the no's get you down, and just try to get in as many rooms as possible. My mom would always tell me when I would get really discouraged, like, oh, I don't even know why I'm going out for this, because this clearly isn't written for me. She's like, okay, well, you have to go in there and change your mind. So yeah, go in there and change your mind.
I love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for this time. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I hope to do it again one time. And we at Latina are big, big fans of yours.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. It was so nice speaking with you.
So nice to talk to you. All right, you too. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you.